The bonds yesterday, I was actually talking to Harvey about this. I expected the bonds to get down to 119 flat, even. We're 3 ticks shy from it. I expected to potentially have additional downside to this, maybe a slight pullback to the downside, but I'm expecting to get down to 117 and a half. But yeah, so just keep an eye on ES. As of right now, the play here is you're watching the gold versus the dollar. They're going to be inversely correlated. If the gold is going up, which it currently is, this is the threshold for it, which is why it's a Z play, to the downside, and vice versa for the dollar index. This is what we're going to concentrate on, is the gold versus the dollar relationship for capital flow. If they start selling off the gold and buying the dollar, we're going to be short in the indices, right? So simultaneously, gold rejects this area, and then ES either comes up to its area, which is up here, or NQ simultaneously. So one or the other starts rejecting it, you're going to be bearish, and you're going to take it to the downside. However, if gold passes this AOE, most notably 1937.4, then we are not bearish whatsoever. So we're watching the gold and the dollar for our line in the sand. Now, currently right now the dollar index is a little bit lower than the AOE, which you guys don't have. It's also close to major level. We'll see how that reacts once we open in about 6 minutes, and then we can go about that. If the dollar does go up, it's basically shorting everything. The most strong thing is going to be the pound. You don't want to short that. Everything else is fair game. I think the weakest one will be the Aussie dollar, by far. And then secondly, probably either the Canadian or the euro. You do not want to short the yen or the pound. Those are two that I don't want to short. The Swiss is on the fringe, so just leave it out. Yeah, other than that, I don't really have too much else. You're just really watching gold and dollar index for the day. Now, it's not just saying, oh, dollar's going up, gold's going down. You got to see the relationship to it. You don't just, pinpoint it in that sense. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, the Nasdaq hasn't gone up yet. It could turn here. I can see that, maybe a little bit higher. But I think we need to go a tad bit more. At the very least, to daily plus, a little slightly above daily plus 1. So maybe about like 37.50 or whatnot. First stoppage in ES is going to be at 1475. Yeah, thereabouts, like right here, 1475 is going to be the first stoppage. So if we do go down, you have to be careful about the 1475. Soft stop is going to be at 22s. So just pay attention to that. We're going to open in about 4 minutes, and then we'll see how things roll. No significant news today. And tomorrow is just core inflation, which is pre-market. Which whoever wants to trade pre-market, just let me know. Fun that, yeah. It looks like we are heading into the summer months hard. Initially, I talked to my guys. A lot of it was very much like this is an extremely active summer month, but it should be slowing down soon. If you have questions, let me know. Congrats to those who made it to through the cut and those who didn't. I will be streaming more privately coming up, probably next week. Um, so less publicly, um, so I can explain things a little bit more and talk about like the major levels openly instead of not saying certain shit. Um, I will be reopening the major level, uh, not chat, but the post so that you guys can see it. Um, but yeah, so as of right now, it's closed off. So the Aussie dollar, I did get in. I could have risk mitigate. I didn't risk mitigate. Um, I am aiming for uh, our target at 63,915 mainly. But if it gets up to 63.95, I have no problems taking off a little bit early. Um, whether it's a win or a lose, I don't know yet because it's still hovering. Um, the entry was okay, not the best. I think the ideal entry is going to be at like 644.95. So yeah, so the capital flow is dictating about gold and dollar index. So just keep on watching that. Opening in about 10 seconds, I think. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. All right, we're I'll call things out as I see it. As of right now, I don't see too much. I know most people are focused on ES. Um, fine. Not a good high in ES right now. Horrible high in ES. Not actionable yet. Get a high in NQ. Get a high in the Russell. Get a high in the Dow as well. None of that is actionable just yet. Um, if we do a top tick here to the overnight high, you know, I still don't want to get too involved just because we're not in that zone just yet. We are in a bigger, larger zone, but we're not in that zone for a day trade yet. For the Z plays, I try to make it so that it's a reasonable stop loss for you guys. Now, if we break this 30.75 level in ES, you have to be careful. There's a lot of liquidity there. It can easily come back and fill and not do anything. There's no follow through. So just be careful about that. ES has a good low at this point, meaning it is correct. NQ has a bad low. The Dow looks like pretty top heavy. Let me see if there's a possibility for it. I kind of missed that fuck uh, due to talking, Chia. But that was a good, very good entry. Your entry would probably be roughly about 32.1, despite it being a really shitty entry, but it would have been a good take on it. So gold would have been good. Again, first stop is going to be at 25.3. Um, yeah, I like 25.3. Um, should be able to risk mitigate well into this, despite where you took it. I have a lot of alerts going off, so sometimes I miss it. Um, so gold right now is working right well. So gold is going down, dollar's going up. That's telling us what, guys? Capital flow. What does that tell us?
Yeah, I'm not sure actually. I don't understand why gold is going down with the dollar, to be honest.
And don't type that out. Cash is being into a safe haven. Is Jackie, for the most part, is leaving the indices, right? It's going into back into dollar. It's getting out of, um, it's a safe haven. They don't even want to put into a safe haven of the bonds. What they want to do is they want to put it into, the dollar, which is less fluctuations. They much rather do that than to, put into anything else. They could partially put into the bonds. It's not a problem. We got to check the, 10, the 20, the 10, the 2, the 5, everything else. But that is correct. Bayman, do me a favor, don't type this shit out. People are in the stream, they can have access to it, they can hear it. If you don't hear it on stream, that's your fault. Sorry I'm being a dick, but I you know, yeah, that's it.
So Zero, I understand why they would choose the strongest currency in the world, but I don't understand why they wouldn't want bonds.
Well, because as of right now, if the interest rates or the yields are not correct, right? Especially in an inverted yield, why would you buy the
Yeah.
30-year bond, right? Makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So if you are a short-term or long-term investor, you would much rather buy something, um, either park your money in the dollar index or park your money into something a little bit more short-term, say like the 2 year or whatever, which is the whole inverted yield conversation, right? So we just broke that in ES right now. Is that a back and fill? We have to, you know, as of now, I agree with it being a back and fill and not a continuation to the upside or still liquidity, just because as of now, the gold is going down, the dollar is going up. Now, we still need a little slight tad bit back and fill in the dollar for it to clear certain things, for it to go further up. However, the gold looks good. No back and fill. Well, maybe a little bit back and fill needed. Um, but as of now, you are on a you're looking for price action, you're looking for areas to get to be risk off. I'm I don't have a good zone in this area. I didn't think that this major level was going to hold. I thought we're going to go a little bit higher before we can clear some shit before we go lower. So I don't want to take anything as of now. Um, but you do want to start looking into a potential risk off scenario, especially if gold continues lower. Obviously we do need to break that 28 for it to get lower. This could, I'm not saying it's a back and fill, but that is from a standard point of picture, a possibility of it holding here. Now, I'm still looking for it to get to 25.1. Um, so we'll see what happens there. It's imbalance to a low side on NQ or ES. That's a bad high in the Dow. So for those of you guys who are in Levels Chatter, as I was talking about yesterday, why I don't like going home long on Wednesdays or short on Wednesdays. This is why. Because if it does continue to the downside, if it does, you will get an additional crack at it. If it is going to reverse, you saved yourself a lot of money. You want to exit during those times. Often, more oftentimes than not. Again, probably next week, tomorrow, I'll be streaming more in private and less in public.
You have your eye on crude at all? Good morning. Sorry. Good morning.
Good morning, man. I do. I have it here, right? I'm looking at it, but it's part of the Z plays today. But I didn't get a price action for it for a short. And yes, it just got there now. I think that we can get a little bit higher. Let me just double check some things. I think we can get a little bit higher. I think we can get up to, at the very least. Why is it like this? Yeah, we can get at least to 80.49. So just flag that. Kind of watch that.
Okay, so we're close. It's close.
Yeah, we're close.
This is really, as far as crude go, looks really clean to me, which is probably scaring me a little.
Yeah. So we could get a back and fill in NQ right now, to about 74s and see a potential, downside.
Spreads don't lie.
Don't lie. Capital flow don't lie. So now that we've broken further down in ES, if you missed it, you can potentially look for the tag of the major level to get short, right? Or close to that major level, right? So before we do that, we double check on gold. Gold's doing a slight back and fill, at least of now. We don't know for a fact. Dollar index already did its back and fill. It shouldn't, and it shouldn't go further lower. If it does go further lower, we're talking about like breaking the lows. Then you're actually very wary about any short side in the indices. So there goes crude crossing of 80.49. Zoom in to a smaller time frame, see where we can get in, if we can get in. For me personally, I'm waiting, still waiting. No price action yet in crude. Okay. That should be as high as crude should get to be honest. If it gets any higher, it's off the table. I'm assuming it was 80.58, but it wasn't. So, but watch that.
A little more than a back and fill there on gold. Could be good still, but
I actually wanted to get up to 32.6. I want gold to back and fill to 32.1. Gold's still live. Gold trade's still live. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Hey, Angela, can you? Sorry. No, I was just trying to figure out the Nikkei number. Um, what number was that? Did I miss it? Thanks, Angela. Fuck, I missed it. Thank you. Thank you. How the hell did I miss that? That's easy trade. God. Oh yeah, I've been trading the Dell. Fuck, I missed it. All right, thank you, sir. Shit, I fucking missed the number. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I must have missed it, Angela. Yeah, it was a good call. I must have missed it. My working hours is messed up. Yeah, but thanks, Angela. Do you primarily look at the Nikkei in dollars or yen, or which do you prefer? What are you looking for? All right, anyone get into gold or crude? Um, I might have some revised numbers. Gold is working out perfectly. Don't give a shit that it went back into the AOE. Anyone get into it? Or crude?
Yeah.
Crude is, yeah, it's iffy, but gold was perfect. You shouldn't have gotten in trouble with gold or with crude at all. If anything, you should have made money in crude at the very least. So, oh, nice posted. Okay, so do watch in this area. If we do have some kind of price rejection, you do want to risk mitigate. So, just pay attention to that. Anyone in levels chatter, if you guys, I messaged in there. If you want to trade Nikkei, let me know. I always have levels for those. I missed a level, which I just got fucking told. He made a fucking amazing trade. I guess I was talking to you guys last night that during FOMC and I fucking missed it. He called it out. I fucking missed it. But anyways, if you guys want to trade Nikkei, futures, let me know. I missed it. Whoever's trading gold, you want to pay attention. We are close to the we are close to the major level. We are also close to the exit zone. You should have made fucking a decent amount right now if you want to get out. Manage your positions right at this point, especially through that big wick. You want to manage it, see what happens. I still think that we can get lower. I think that you might want to consider taking it off if we somehow bust through 28.1. I'm in Aussie gold and wow. Okay. I'm in Aussie too. Good trade on gold. Hopefully you're fucking making money on that. Crude, again, you're watching this area. That bottom tick is very kind of scary. I will double check for you. It's okay, but watch the price action. Crude is a little bit more tricky because even if it comes up to 80.8045, man, you can still be good with that. As far as Aussie goes, you and I are in the same boat. This can still back and fill easily to 44.25 and it'll still be good. So, manage it appropriately. I'm still short. I guess you could risk mitigate if you wanted to. I'm not, I haven't risk mitigated. I'm still looking for that number. Yeah. So, see what happens. Harvey, sorry for the late reply, but yeah, crude. I mean, a lot of good price action for crude. Once yeah, it didn't stop the AOE, but we got it slightly a little bit higher. It wasn't as clean. Clean meaning it wasn't in the AOE, but the gold was perfectly in the AOE. Just watch the gold. Anyone else get into gold? Gold was clearly the easier trade with the price action. Um, dollar needs to break 192, 103, 192 for continuation. It was a great back and fill, a clear back and fill. I think whoever's in crude, just watch it closely. That bottom tick does scare me a little bit. Maybe trail in some stops. Bayman, did you risk mitigate anything? You risk, okay, good. Put a buy stop for risk mitigation one if it doesn't continue lower in the Aussie. It shouldn't. Risk mitigation is at 65. It shouldn't get up there. It can get up to 50 easily, but you know, don't expect it to come back that hard. And if it does, it's a risk mitigation. I just leave it, move on to the next one. If not, it continues lower, it hits our target, so on and so forth. I'm not gonna lie, Bayman. I'm surprised that you're doing all, you traded all of those. Nikkei is definitely more of a swing, so kind of have to be careful with that. Cruise running, so watching that. Probably scale up your stop losses in case that's going to come back hard. You never know with crude. Depending where you entered, my assumption is that most of you guys entered roughly about 48, 49. I would say you need to just risk mitigate and leave your stops because this could come back to 80, 48, 49 and still be good. As far as gold goes, yeah, your shit should be straight up fucking break even by now. You're already close to the target. You're about 1 point or less away. You want to, potentially, just draw it up to like 29.6 or so and just kind of watch the price action. Is that a bottom tick? Is that what the hell is that? Just wait. And then if it gets up to 25.1, which is that level, you want to get out. Which is the exit in middle of the exit zone. You want to get out 25.1, or even when it taps it to 25.3, you just want to get out. That's a bad low. Oh, no, sorry. My apologies. That's a pretty bad low in NQ, but that doesn't mean that it's transactionable. It's a bad low, and the Dow is still leading to the upside. It's still the strongest one. We're not surprised about that. Now you're looking for it to back and fill to the major level in ES. That's a major level right there. You want to see a back and fill to that, and possibly a short from there. So that's, I'm not going to put it in, but that's, you know, the new Z play. Or fuck it, I'll put it in. ES hit his first target, but it didn't get it to AoE, so that's a no play. Um, Second ES entry coming. I would consider getting out of crude soon. Back and fill maybe to about 80-32. As of now, if crude makes a higher high, that's going to qualify for another play. If anyone sees that, if I don't see it, please let me know. Gold tapped into the exit zone by a tick, basically. You want to just kind of hold on to there, watch the price action. It could run to about 21.6. That would be the second. I didn't think it was going to reach it to all the way there, but you want to just watch the price action and get out there. What do you mean, Harvey? What is no shit, Sherlock? Like, what? Did I say something?
Oh no, that he's having a hard time managing all that.
Oh,
No shit. You got fucking four fucking randoms, not randoms, but
that's awesome. He's trading like me. It's fucking amazing. What are you talking about?
I'm saying it's a fucking challenge to keep it together and keep all the fucking. Yeah, he wrote it, and it's a little extended for me to manage it all. Yeah, no shit. It's three fucking.
Nah. Not yet. He needs to make some big moves first. No, no. I think that this move is perfectly fine. That's why I said that, like, you don't want to trail your stop to break even, assuming you got in where I called it at 49. Let's just say, for example. I think that it could still be very good to the downside, at the very least for a risk mitigation. Um, but I think 49 is perfectly a normal pullback. Whether we continue lower is a different story. However, I don't think that based on this price action that we are needing to go up higher, because that doesn't mean it can't. It just means that based on my current eye, like, I wouldn't drag this to break even if I were in at 49. If I was in at 49. This move could be easily up or down. It doesn't mean you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of in between is what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily have to come back. Bayman for Aussie, we're not there yet, but if we get price action here, we might want to take one off at the very least. Today's busy for some reason. If we do break 43.45 in the Aussie dollar, you want to take it off about 315. I have an alert set, so. Okay, we do not want to take it off at 315 anymore. We're currently at 315. Let me double check crude. Yeah, let's just do that. Good bounce on dollar. You can't trade the dollar, so I just have this AOE there for myself to think where we can go. Crude can easily get up to about so about 390. Offers a lot of downside to the Aussie. So to me, the Aussie's sitting fairly pretty, unless nothing. The gold could be in jeopardy because of the reaction. Retro, where do we bounce off gold?
Wait, why are you asking me?
Well, you should know. What's the low of the day in gold?
It's hold on, let me look at it. 1925. Wait. Yeah.
What is that?
It's, an area.
It's an area.
It's a special area.
Yeah. So, Bimmy, you should be out of that gold trade shortly, if not all of it. I don't care if Harvey's talking shit to you. Trade comes first. No? Yeah, that's not a coincidence. You need to get out of that gold. Gold
I mean,
trade
get the fuck out. If you're not out.
Gold worked to a T, man. Like,
Yeah, that was perfect.
let me check out bonds. Bonds are not doing too much. Well, I don't know what potentially could do now. Good back and fill in gold, so it can still go higher in gold. If you're swing trading it, I would say don't get out of it, but you're not swing trading, so get out of it. Nice, Damon. Yeah, 10 years doing the same. Cool. Let me check this real quick. I don't think I can get it. All right, we're almost getting up to the AOE for the second entry of ES. You want to see what's going to happen in that area. My main target is going to be at 44.32 for a short. Let me just double check some shit. Yeah, 44.32 looks great. So tag it, flag it, whatever. It's a good area for buyers to try to get up above that level. Hopefully it doesn't come back. We don't want it to get back to 23s at all. We want it to get up to 32s. We take a short, we put it at this stops at the swing highs, and then we can easily aim for 23s. If not, maybe slightly lower. But we don't want it to get into 23s right now at all. 23 and a half, we don't want that because that's going to be an easy target for us. So if it gets up to 32s, 31 and a quarter, whatever it may be, watch the price action, you get short, you can easily first time down, target 23s, you'll probably see a bounce, and then you can target lower however you want to do it. I need a fucking drink. I need some tea. I miss tea. What else are you in, Bayman? Okay. Let me see your crude. All right. Top tick in crude. So there goes that top tick we were talking about. Now, don't love it. Keep out of crude. No shorts in crude. That should be an easy, like, break even, whoever took crude. When I say break even, I'm actually being harsh on it. You should have made money off of it, technically speaking. But that's considered break even. All right. So Aussie just crossed a decent important level. Did I get that 4340? All right, so maybe take one off now. Take one off at 43.25. All right, I'm out 43.25. I have one more. I'm just gonna leave it. That's more than risk one-to-one risk mitigation. It's not a lot more, but it's more. I did get into a pretty horrible pricing. But focus on something else. So let's wait for the ES to play out. Hopefully, it can get up to 32s. NQ is still very down. Santa, I think he stepped away. Yeah. You still have. All right. No plane. ES. Um, we're still very, very bearish. It's just no good. Dollar's still going up. Do you guys see that now? Do you guys see how the dollar's going up? Gold's going down. ES is going down. Anyone else see that? This is capital flow. These are your matchups.
Zero, can you say that one more time?
So I can't hear you. So
Oh, sorry. Can you say that one more time? That the correlations that you were talking about?
the correlation for the day
Mhm.
for the day is that if gold continues to go, if dollar continues to go up, gold is going down. It's a risk-off scenario.
Mm.
We saw it live earlier on in the day. I wasn't sure if you're here, but that's exactly what happened. There was a great back and fill in the dollar index at 8:43 Central Standard Time. Simultaneously, 8:43, and the gold is a back and fill. Inversely, they all went down. What happens in ES at 8:43? Right there, we back and fill as well, and we go down. So, when you have things line up, this is what happens. It just gives you an insane amount of confidence in taking whatever trade you want to take.
Gotcha. Thank you.
That's for today, though, Sal. So,
Yeah.
don't go.
It's not always. Yeah.
No, it's not.
I gotta rewatch Fat Cat's correlation video. It's
It has
pretty
nothing to do with
interesting.
that guy's correlation video.
Well, yeah. No,
Fat Cat's correlation video is based on his. It's based on the Russell, the Nasdaq, the ES's volume profile, and he's looking at what each and every single one are doing as far as the volume profile, and if there's any jumps, or if all three or two or whatever are stalling in a certain area, he takes it in that sense.
right.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's different. It's drastically different, but it's similar in concept, I guess you can say, if that makes sense.
No, I get it.
Damn, Bayman, just fucking killing it today, huh? Posting all that yum stuff. Bayman, do me a favor and post it into Levels Chatter so people can see it too.
Yo, can I get re-invite to the Levels channel? I mistakenly left his Discord a few months ago and I lost everything.
I think you got kicked out of Levels Chatter. You didn't.
Damn.
You didn't leave it.
True.
I send out quizzes once in a while, and if you don't answer it, you get kicked out, or if you answer it incorrectly, you get kicked out. I might do another round. Give me I'll if you're in voice, I'll announce it, and then I'll send out a quiz for those who want to be part of it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Goddamn day job, dude,
I'm not gonna babysit. I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna say in voice, and people hear it, they hear it. If they don't hear it, then yeah, it's fine. You can put it in here, Bayman. It doesn't matter to me. I just figured you had a good trade. Why not share it? Bayman's killing it. Killing it. Bayman, there's no reason for you to get an Aussie dollar completely.
I had to get up for a minute and
Can you speak louder? Sorry.
I said I had to get up for a minute and my brain was done.
Got it.
So that was just again poor management.
Good job.
Thank you.
So your first Aussie trade, you should have been able to risk mitigate that, right? Or no, you got in. Yeah, it's a decent entry.
Yeah, I could.
You wouldn't been able to, but
Um,
your stops are also incorrectly put.
I did move that stop.
Was that?
I said I moved that stop lower. After I didn't get mitigated on that first leg down, and started coming back at me.
You got scared, is what you did.
Yes, correct.
Okay, got it. Okay. 1 second, guys. That's a possible low in Netflix retro. Possible low. It's a soft low.
A softball.
Well, because same thing. You gotta wait for the price action. Price action's not setting up for it. I think
Right.
tomorrow's a more telling time, but you don't really want to enter a trade tomorrow, say going into next week. So maybe just wait for Monday to see where it's in relations to, this low right now.
Where it is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if it starts putting some kind of doji, whatever, that
Right.
could be fairly telling. Next level down is gonna be at 39314.
39314.
Yeah. And then for those of you guys trading Bitcoin, it's a little bit late, but you can probably lean on this later. Bitcoin should get into 28,000 even. I have it slightly. That's one of the guys' math. I have it a little bit off than 28,000. I have it at 28,130. So it's 130 off. So, however you dice it, $130 in Bitcoin is nothing. But just letting you guys know what the difference is between the math that we've made. Retro, write this down. Line in the sand, closing line in the sand for Apple is going to be at 176.
That's just for today?
No, that's moving on for the next
That's
couple of weeks.
moving. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's closing level, and I think I talked to you about that closing level.
I don't know.
Let me text you.
Okay.
Or I'll put in levels chatter so people can see it.
I would buy, but you have to wait for price to settle. Are you looking at the chart? Yeah, you see how it's entering like an area of like a bunch of where there were candles, like in June. Yeah. It just, you needed to like enter that area and create like a doji or like some sort of bullish, early signs of bullishness, right? To see it start to curl back up. And then you could enter a trade and just put a stop there in case you're wrong. And you might have to try it a couple of times. But when it comes into here, it's going to either reject really fast or it's going to sit there and like try to fight it out because there was a battle there before. It's kind of like you could see a volume profile, right? Like that's where it would be like a point of control on some time frame, because there was so much activity, so many days of activity there. So you just have to watch, and like Zero was saying, like tomorrow or Monday, you just got to watch for daily candles to show that they're done. Yeah. But I don't play shorts when it looks like this. I just leave it alone, right? Because it's not a good risk to reward for me, right? But the risk to reward is better if it's a long, and if I'm wrong, I'm just wrong. But I don't
Why
like to
is
do
that though, Retro?
why? What?
Is it because you know where you're wrong and you can lean on it?
Yeah. No. I do. I don't like this chart for puts. Do you know, like I should have taken puts a lot earlier and start scaling out. But again, like if it like gets stuck here and then it rejects, then you can take it. I'm just not taking like straight candles down. Like I needed to pause and react and figure itself out. And then I can take it. Like it has to pause for a few days. And then I can take it up or down, but I can't keep taking continuations down consecutively. Because you're late. You're late. And a lot of people are at that point chasing like moving averages and crosses. I don't want to do that stuff. It can work. You know, people can get trades off of it, but I don't think it's a consistently good method way of trading. Yeah, it's chasing. Yeah, it's basically chasing. If you buy puts here, or even if you buy put, yeah, I gotta wait for it to pause. You know, or I need a hard rejection to the upside. I'm not looking for a hard rejection to the downside here because that's straight consecutive downside moves, and you're chasing at that point, right? Like you see, yeah.
Oh,
Like look at the Apple chart on a daily time frame. You see how it went back and forth in that area? And then it dropped. Right? Yeah. Like it paused, right? It paused for a few days to try to figure itself out. And now it's breaking down. That's where you can take a put, right? But Netflix hasn't done that. So we need to wait for Netflix to figure itself out. At least that's like the way I like to trade. Like other people have different methods. This is just something, you know, because people will just chase because they see something else. I don't know what they're seeing.
I took a short in crude F1.
And if you look if you drill down into Apple, like it rejects so quickly. That's how you know, like, okay, they've pretty much decided that they're going to, you know, like it paused for a few days and then just drops so fast. That's usually what happens in a continuation. So if you were stalking this, you would just kind of look for like a really quick rejection versus like yesterday, there was no rejection and there wasn't even like a fast move up. Like you need something like the springboard off of when you're in those days of consolidation. For Apple, but the thing is, like, you can come into the day anticipating some sort of a move, and you want like a violent move very early on to tell you where it wants to go. When it starts going back and forth in like the first 15 to 30 minutes, then it's just still trying to figure itself out, right? It could break out during later in the day, but I prefer to have those moves early on because it's more telling of the direction. Because it's so quick of a rejection of that area. and then people's stops get triggered or whatever. Because if people were trying to buy at that point, everyone's stops just got triggered. And that's why you get like this violent move down. Right? Like, so I like that early price action. And it's, and you always, scale out, you don't hold it. Because if you look at the day on the 15th, so what is that? Tuesday. You see how we get a quick rejection in the morning and then it falls down pretty fast. And that's kind of the action you need. But obviously you're taking profit because you don't know if it's going to retrace or not. But then the real dump came today. So that's more just trade management. But you didn't get any sort of dump or even a violent move up on yesterday because you had too much of a battle, even just that early time frame in the first 30 minutes.
I'll be right back. But second entry for ES is a no-go. So even if it gets back into the zone's a no-go. I just got into short and crude. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll be right back.
Okay. You said 393.14. Sure. Yeah, I think you want to like watch that area and see what it wants to do. Like, does it bounce? Does it stall? I think we just have to look at it. I mean, it looks better for a bounce, but I think you need obviously the markets to cooperate as well. Otherwise, you won't really get it. Like Apple falling through that consolidation isn't a good sign. Let me see where else. But he had I think when we close above that level, maybe that's when, because I think Netflix will, like once you see the other indices starting to stall or looking for signs of relief, then Netflix will. And Netflix has a big range. So it's a nice one to play. No, just the chart. You just need the chart, and then you need like the overall market, right? Like you can't, like if ES is going to sell off, it doesn't matter. Everything is going to be dragged down with it. So if you look at like utilities is the only thing that's holding right now. And usually when you have a sell-off in the index, it drags everything down. That's how you know it's like a true sell-off because there's no sector that's safe. And utilities has started to pause, right? Because it was selling off with the index. Like you would expect everything to sell off. But then yesterday it didn't sell off at all. And if you look at that daily chart for XLU, you can see why it's stalling because it's at like its lows. Like it's hit, it's like at a the same low from like March, and let me pull it up. Yeah, like the early March lows, and then it was the lows in May. Then it's the same low in end of June. So we're back in that territory. So it makes sense that it would bounce and it would be kind of the first to recover because it's so oversold. Yeah. Yeah. So I bought some calls on, I've been playing Duke many times. So I actually bought some calls for October today. Yeah, but I took Duke within XLU. And again, like this can run like today and maybe even another day. But if the Nasdaq starts to recover really fast or like in a violent way, they may not drag utilities with it, right? Because they're just going to put all the money into like tech. And when like everything goes into tech, some of those defensive stocks don't really do anything. They can either sell off, they can come with it, but they don't have to. Right. So you kind of have to be, it's kind of like a sector rotation type of thing. So like right now it's good because money is not going anywhere, right, in any of the sectors. So it's safe for now. And then tomorrow I'd have to see if they're going to continue to run or if they're going to, have it pause and put money into tech or somewhere else. But it's so oversold. Like this is where I like to buy things.
I risked mitigating crude and then I got stopped out, so it was a break-even trade for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh. And that's the key. You have to time it. Timing is even more important on options. And you have to exit. Like you have to, because when it retraces, like you've seen, you lose so much value. Many times it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because you need, right, because that IV adds so much value to it. Well, what it is, I scale out. If you look at where utilities is, this wouldn't be a day trade. This would be more of a swing just because it's so low. But I'm going to scale out today regardless, right? And then I can always add to the position if I want to, or I could just keep the core position depending on what happens tomorrow. I just don't like that the overall market is still bearish. So I have to be somewhat careful holding along here. But I think it has room. It has a lot of room up. So I feel good about it. Yeah. Yeah. So when you look at it's similar, it's like the capital flow concept, right? Because it's all going to be correlated, right? Because it's going to move. If other assets in that sector are moving, it's going to drag the other ones along. But you kind of want to see which one's the strongest out of it, right? Because if you miss whatever was leading, you could also catch one of the lagger ones because it's going to get pulled up with the strength. But sometimes you can spot the strength beforehand Like if you're stalking, yeah. Yeah, if you go to, there's like a Sector Spiders app. I use that and I always, like, you can see the top holdings. Yeah, more or less. Because like the top 4 to 5, and then maybe I'll look at 1 or 2, but it's within the top 7, I would say. Of stocks within there, you mean? Yeah, similar, yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, do you go to, you have Apple Store? You're in an app? Okay, there's a website. So let's find the website. They might have, like, I don't know. I'm sure they have other apps. Sector. Okay, I put it in. Take a look there. See if you can get an app that you can download. It is, the data's delayed, I think 15 minutes, but that's not really what you're using it for. You're just trying to get familiar with the rotations and how to play the names within the rotations. Sure, no worries. Right now it's just puts and calls. I think I'm gonna look at something else, but I need to practice it and get my head around it. Because there are ways to take advantage when you just go in chops. Right, yeah. 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 So I think I just have to get my head around it and practice it. So I'll do that at some point. I always get, like, I'm the type of person that hits like buy instead of sell. Like, so I just don't want to fuck up 4 different legs of an option trade. I know. So I'm like, it's so easy. And I'm like, oh God, these are 4 legs I got to do at once. Yeah. Right.
Looks like we might have a melt up. So no more shorts for now. Gold got to its target, reversing on its level, and the dollar also got to a level. Double check that. So no more shorts, guys. Yeah, I'm trying to buy it right now. It's not going to be as deep play. Excuse me? No trade on the oil to the downside. As far as the rollover, the official rollover isn't until next week. It's just a volume rollover right now. 102. Nope. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to buy the Dow, but it's just running because again, Dow's a stronger one, so I'm trying to buy it, and I just couldn't like it. Just didn't give it to me. I'm gonna cancel it. Um, it can still come back a little bit, but yeah, it's a little bit too far for me right now. Kind of, sort of missed that ball, but whatever. I was trying to get at 905 for you guys, for just FYI. If it does come back, maybe I'll grab it. I don't know. I'll go half size since it's really not in a good area. Nothing much. It's just a boring Thursday. So, yep. So far, got into crude. You should have been able to, despite it being completely wrong, should have been able to risk mitigate. ESN and Q never got there. Gold was a good trade. Aussie was a good trade. Um, and the pound didn't get there either. And I even fucking post the pound. You should have made a good chunk of change on the Aussie dollar, despite it still not being able to get to its target. It was a good move to it. I'm still holding on to it. I still think that there's a high possibility. At the very least, it can get to 64,095, which then is a good trade. But yeah. According to the Dow, half size. Let me see where I want it. It's gonna be a fairly big stop just because it's a shitty entry, but it's half size, so we'll see what happens. 74. Let's let it play out. Can't say I love it right now. Um, but it's fine. A lot of sellers stepping in. That's not good. Looks like I'm gonna get stopped out. Uh, yeah, I'm probably gonna get stopped out. Yeah, I'm stopped out. One tick slippage. If we get a new low of the day, I'll get back in. New low of the day. I'm watching it. I'm not taking it just yet. So far, looking like a potential bottom tick, but still not taking anything just yet. Still watching it, nothing yet. All right, I'm gonna try to take a stab here. Yep, taking a stab here. Stops at the low of the day. Risk mitigation. Low. This is not a good. Yeah, 81. 2, 9, 7. See if we can get there. It was a good pop, but that selling is not something I want to see. Yeah, I got stuck. I wonder why this is not starting correctly. Yeah, canceling. If it gives it to me again, I'll probably take another stab at it. How come it didn't give it to me? Last stab at this trade idea, and if it doesn't work out, it's done. Risk mitigation at 66. What the fuck is spiked up but didn't fill me? That's weird. That's really weird. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it spiked up, but it didn't fill me for some reason. Yep. Stopped. That's my last try. Especially with that spike. That's really shady of a spike. Coming to London's close. Hey, Bayman, let's give it one more try. Either the Russell or the Dell. I'll let you know when. Just go half size. We're coming to lens close is a good time. Ideally, I want the Dow to kind of hit, what is this, 2821, but it doesn't have to. Close enough. But if it hits 821, it's probably better. But this is decent. But let's see. Just go half size. The Russell's actually might be the better one. Uh, I don't think we're gonna get there till it's up 67. But if we get there, I mean, I would love that. You can do it. Just put your back into it. All right, so there goes the Dow to its number. Not yet, almost. The fuck? The hell? I can't play music here? Oh my god. It's so weird. I can't play music because it's explicit or some shit. Oh, screw this. All right, so we have, let's see, NQ. NQ looks good. ES looks good for the taking. Hit our exit zone, so that's good. We just need to Dow and the Russell set up. Maybe I prefer the Russell. So we'll see. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why they don't allow us to play it. Wait for price action. Not there yet, in my opinion. Chia, if you're still there, let's just take it together. Just go with 4 micros. If you're, I'll call up the number I'm looking for. Much yes. Yes is almost. Yeah, fucking NASDAQ is doing well. Yeah, just go 4 because it might be a decent, pretty big stop. Let's have Dow take care of that triple, quadruple bottom, whatever. First, there's a lot of stoppage there. 6 minutes until close. This is probably my last trade of the day, whether it works or not. It's a really good low by ES, actually. Come on, take out that bottom. And I want Russell to do the same. Let's see what the Dow does. It's not giving us anything to go with or to work with. So That's a no-go thus far. Let's see what the Russell gives us. If it's a no-go, it's a no-go.
Dow.
Yeah, I'm looking at the I mean, it's the strongest one. It's dragging everything, so no price action. Let's see what gold is doing. Gold is heading lower, which is dragging indices. Dollar is going higher. Okay, no go. No go. I thought that the gold and dollar would hold, but no go. No trade. Let's hold. Let's see. Yeah, no trade. Um, look at the gold, look at the dollar, and you'll see why there's no trade. That's how you do capital flow. Hey, Bayman,
Yes, sir.
you sad about your Aussie trade?
Yeah. So my reasoning for that was you had so first off, I was actually kind of comfortable holding at least one or two of the contracts in gold, but you said it was a good time to close it. And that led me to believe you had like some other reasoning for thinking that was the bottom.
For gold?
And yeah. And
Okay.
because of that, I also thought that that meant a bottom in the
Aussie
Aussie.
dollar.
Yeah.
I can see why.
I'm still
Hold on,
happy.
hold on, Bayman. Let me do my best impression. Hold on, real quick. Did that work? All right. Fuck you guys then. It didn't work, huh?
We didn't hear anything.
Damn it.
I missed it. Oh, you had a can, didn't you?
Yeah.
What?
That was a can? Ah. Okay.
You need a
Did
lot.
not hear anything. It's a fail.
Yeah,
Fail.
it was a fail. God dang it.
You need to turn off your noise suppression in Discord. They'll fix it.
Yeah. Hold on. Server settings, roles, remove, retro, posted, Bayman, hard.
That was another test.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you mean, Damon. I can see what you're talking about. Excuse me.
If anything, I'm more upset because I was like planning on holding a contract or two for gold, and that's more what I'm bummed out about is that I didn't at least just keep a runner on.
Well, here's the thing, right? With gold, we got to the exit area, and we literally did multiple price actions to show some type of reversal. So depending on how many contracts you got in, let's just say 4 micros or whatever, you get out 2 for risk mitigation. You take 1 more off there. That's fine. But I wouldn't blame you based on the price action to get out. Complete fine with that, I think. As far as the Aussie dollar, we're not there yet. If you risk mitigated, you're safe. I'm not saying that, we can't go reverse here. But yeah, I mean, I don't really see it stalling anywhere. Like, there's no reason for it to truthfully stall here. It should stall maybe at 40.95, but not here. But I did take 1 off, and I still have 1 more. But I get it. I get it. You know, this is one thing like I've noticed about, and I'm generalizing here, guys, so don't like get mad at me or whatever. One thing I noticed about like some of you guys is that, because I was, after yesterday's talk, I was taking notes, and I stayed up really late afterwards, even though I cut you guys off and whatever. I took a bunch of notes. I was reviewing certain trades, and I wrote down like what I need to actually help you guys with, aside from risk management and taking trades. Actually, most importantly, is that I don't think you guys are truly comfortable with winning trades. Like that's something that's really odd to say, but I really don't think you guys are comfortable with winning, if that makes sense.
No, you're
If it doesn't
totally right about it. I think, at least for me, it's as sad as it is. I don't have enough of them to have the skill set to manage them right yet.
It's not necessarily managing it. It's so what I mean, this two-part question to Bayman and Chia. It's like when you have a losing trade, you're very hopeful it's gonna work, right? Hopeful to a sense where you let it come back and stomp you out. Whereas when you have a winning trade, you're so fearful of giving it back, you're willing to cut it way earlier than you should be. Does that make sense, Chia?
Yeah, I have a habit of cutting the majority of it like way too quick. I'm
Yeah.
good at leaving like one on, and I'm good at letting it come back at me a good bit comfortably. But the majority of the position I have off way earlier than I ever have a right to.
Yeah. No. So it's like, and I kind of alluded to this earlier on. It's like, oh, the more you get used to winning, meaning the more you see these setups work time and time and time again, or break even time and time again, you're going to start getting a feel for how to manage the trade. Because you can't just say manage trade this way. Peter, you kind of asked this question yesterday. You can't just say manage the trade this way, whatever. And which is why, Peter, when you were asking me, I was kind of stuttering. It's like, it's hard to say because it's like, you personally, and you had a great trade. You personally don't know what I'm looking for and what time frame I'm trading, and you don't know exactly what time frame you're trading. Like, it's not cemented yet. So, you don't know, like, is this extended for your time frame? Because it could be extended for my time frame doesn't mean it's extended for your time frame, and vice versa. So, getting used to winning, it's like I see the setup all the time, and you risk mitigate, and then you're like, well, I'm just gonna let it go. Like, I'm still sitting in that Aussie trade, despite it, going sideways for fucking half the day so far, half the day, right? Or 2 hours or whatever. Like most people be like, it's not working, I'll get out. But like if you're comfortable with it, you just stick with the idea until you get something that tells you need to get out. This is not good. Then that's when you get out. So as of now, you're also not, back to the whole uncomfortable. It's like you're feeling like, oh, this can go against me and I need to protect my profit. I just want to see green. I want to book a win to feel good. And that's not necessarily wrong when you're in a what is that thing called? In a dry spell? No. Fuck.
Comes
Been in Hong
down
Kong too.
to proper trade location. I feel like let's just, like say I'm looking at your NQ on the left there. So
Yeah.
let's just say you got in way at the top. Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna feel way better about. It comes right back down to patience, right? So the patience of entering is also reflected on the backside, and it's the reverse ducks. Basically, you have to be patient for both. Like you can't just, if your ducks aren't lined up, or if you have 4 of 5 things, maybe that's enough, but it's quite like maybe not enough, right? So 5 of you should have the same kind of parameters on the exit. I feel like people
Yes.
are, when they're in pressure, like under pressure. So like let's just say we're between your purple line there and then your LB line. Let's just say we're entered in there somewhere. No, way up, way up. Yeah, right in there somewhere. Like we're feeling like we're incorrect, right? You don't really know anything. And let's just say we get down to your AOE there. Now we get more comfortable, right? But we're trailing the stop down as not to give back, right? Really not really looking at price action. We're just trying to not give anything back, because really the whole thing comes back to, it's funny, and I'm gonna attest for the room, I don't know if it's true, I've had a hell of a lot more losers than I have winners. So to protect any type of winner, we really work our asses off to protect that winner, yet we're not using our better mindset and our patience model to wait for the proper price action to actually come and unfold. And even by saying that, when the price action does come at the bottom, or whatever, like we're just talking on a short situation here, you feel like it's like, again, like you're like, I'm chasing the exit almost. You almost want to take it the deepest part you can. By taking it at the deepest part you can, that doesn't give you the reverse confirmation to get the fuck out. Basically, it's that I was always thinking about this, the reverse button. It was like, why the fuck do they even have that if it's such a nightmare of a button? Realistically, if you do this job correctly, the reverse button would absolutely be the button you would use almost every single. I'm not suggesting that you do it. I'm not saying that. But that button, because you've used your reverse patience and your reverse price action, the reverse button should work in a sense, right? Because by shutting it off at the exact right point, that means that the price action is reversing, and it will be, the attitude has changed, not just chasing profits, right? You're not going to get as much profit if you chase price action correctly. It will keep in the trade longer.
I think that you're correct on it. It's just that you also have to, like, of course, you're going to feel comfortable if you have a good entry. However, that's not incorrect. I'm just saying from a stance. I'm saying from a stance of like, I'm saying from a stance of like letting your winners run. That's what I mean. Yes, of course, it's easy to just let your winners run when you are you have a good exit or entry or whatever. But I'm talking about from a standpoint of letting your winners run. I don't think that from a psychology standpoint, regardless of your entry, I think that a lot of people are not letting it run and they just want to book a win, is what I'm saying. You're not wrong. I'm just saying.
Well, that's the thing. The bestest of entries don't come around that often for a lot of us.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I feel like when I don't get the bestest of entries, I feel like I know it. I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't get the best entry. I'm chasing. I should shut this off, right? Because I still, like, let's just say the move has 3 pivots. I'm getting in on, like 5 pivots. I'm getting in on the 4th pivot. I don't know that there's 6 pivots. I don't know if there's 7 pivots. I'm always leery about it because of my, let's call it, lack of patience or chasing, right?
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
No, past experience.
Exactly. It's like I've touched the stove too many times. How do you make an omelet? You have to touch the stove, right? Like, so it's a funny mindset, really. I don't know if this is helping anybody, but I'm just trying to talk about my own experience, really, of why I feel the way I feel. Like, if you can pinpoint this on your, like, it's a personal thing, right? So the more you can develop yourself, and I can't help anybody develop themselves, right? You have to actually look at yourself and take notes. Don't be so ignorant about it and be like, oh, I'm better than that, or I'm this or that. Actually identify what you're doing and why. And then you can start working on things, right? Like that's the way I'm trying to tackle it. Just feel like if I get a bad entry, it really sticks with me, and you don't know that it's going to reverse, right? You really don't until it does. But so you're just trailing it in, and you really want to win more than you want to lose. That's
precisely.
absolutely true.
Yeah, precisely that. It's like you just need something green to carry you on to build your confidence. You know, and that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't look at trading in that sense because say you're let's be realistic. You lose 60% of the time, 40% of the time you win, but then you're cutting your shit. You know, it goes back to the whole EV, the risk reward. That's what I'm saying. You're cutting your winners so early that
No. I was saying
doesn't
that the
make
other day.
sense.
It was like, how is it that you're look? Let's just say your home runs, whatever they are. Say you're 3-1. Say you're 4-1. Whatever they are, doesn't matter. Why is it that you use the smallest size on the biggest runners? And then why is it on the biggest runners that you cut them short?
You don't care.
All the other ones, all the biggest losers, you let the biggest losers go to the biggest losers, and you don't even have a problem with it. The biggest runner, you will not let it go, and you will cut, like you will use the smallest size, and you will cut it early on the biggest runners, and you will use the largest size and let them run on the losers. It's I'm not, I don't know, I don't have an answer. I'm just trying to, it's just a statement that I was making, and I was like, that's exactly what happens almost, right? And then like you're saying, it's 6 losers to 4 winners. It doesn't always happen like that, right? It could be 12 fucking winners in a row before you hit the 4, right? Like, or whatever it is, right? Like it's like the combination is what fucks it up, right? Then every time, and I haven't done any backsteady on this, but I mean, potentially you're gonna hit your biggest winner after you've had a few losers. And that's exactly why you're actually using the smaller size. Because you've had those smaller, and you touched the stove and burned yourself. And you're like, oh fuck, I better size down. Because somebody was saying something, this was a long time ago, dynamic sizing, right? So on the first trade, if it's a winner, you up your size. And if on the second trade, third trade, if you lose 3 in a row, you're dynamically sizing down. Which I don't agree with, because that's all in your mind. It's actually not the setup that's changing. It's you that's changing. It's your bullshit mindset of like, well, I should size down. And exactly what happens is when you size down, that's when the thunder comes and you get your move. And you're like, oh fuck, great, I made 300 ticks.
You're absolutely right. You should never.
Micro.
Yeah.
Fuck me on 5 micro. I'm like, oh, fucking great. That's awesome. Like,
I'm not necessarily against sizing down. I know that I personally have. When you're in a rut, like a real rut, and I don't mean losing 5 in a row, 6 in a row, 10 in a row. I mean a fucking rut. Like you just can't read the market correctly. Even when you enter trades and it goes in your favor, it doesn't get to target, whatever, and you've lost, say, I don't know.
No,
20
dynamic sizing would be more in line with, like, I think they were talking along the lines of, like, say you take 10 trades a day, kind of dynamic sizing. I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, if you're in a rut and you're not reading it, and I call it your edge, right? Your edge, edge is a hard thing to define, and I believe edge, or part of edge, is your environment. If your environment or your mindset, your mental environment isn't correct, then you should size down or not trade, right? Like, this is not a game for fucking around, right? Like you have to be, everything has to be lined up, like, or like I'm talking your mind, your setup, everything has to be lined up, or you're not going to be successful. That cat turned the turn, and his mindset got correct. And I can go into
that cat is
something else. There's a few other reasons why he made the turn, but his mindset got partially correct.
That cat is very, he's abnormal. He's that fucking good.
I wouldn't say so. He's an evolution, and persistence. I don't think he's abnormal to make it through the persistence phase. Yeah, he's been doing it for like 8 fucking years, grinding his dick off for $10, helping his dick. Like when I first started seeing him, and it was like hard to watch almost. Like it was like, you know what I mean? It was like he would grind his ass off, make very, very little, right? Until his mindset was correct is when he started to make that shift. And that comes with time as well.
I mean, abnormal in a sense where he knows exactly what time frame he wants to trade. He works hard at it. You're absolutely right. And if anyone knows, I mean, I've seen him from sim for a year, if not more, to trading his own account on a light basis, to doing combines, blowing it, to back to sim, to just back and forth until, you know, he's what he is now. So I know what you mean. I'm just saying that he's different, and most people can't do that. They can't dedicate 4 years, to trading sim.
Well,
They
that
just
and they're. I feel like a lot of people just constantly flip flop their idea stream, I guess, or the next shiny new thing comes in front of them, and they get like, let's spend a month on whatever, like fucking MacDs, see if that works, or let's like ITC, let's try this guy's method, let's try that guy's method. They don't ever really give it a chance. Like auction market theory, he's been preaching that for the whole time, right? Like his DOM work, he's never really deviated from his system, I guess is what you said. The system has evolved, yet he's never really deviated. He's not like, he has a little bit. Like he's like, I'm gonna try to add delta. He was like, delta fucking sucks, and he throws it away, right? You don't see him doing that very often, right? He's just kind of stuck to his way of well, you said it the other day. How do I become more consistent? Or no, what was it? It wasn't consistent. Yeah, it was consistent, wasn't it? Like, how do I take the thought out of it and make it like, why am I using 14 units? Why am I using 14 lots? Why am I not using, like, there was no rhyme or reason to your, why am I using this sizing, right? There's no reason to it until you put a spreadsheet on it, and then you're like, okay, wait a second, like, I can only use 6 crude oils, and I have this much draw, like, you know what I mean? That makes a lot of sense to me. Like, there's, to take the thought, or sorry, to take the human part out of it, this is where numbers is going to come in. If you can take the human out of it as much as possible without going full robot, right? Like, cause I don't believe in going full robot, but that's another story. You're still going to have to be partially discretionary, right? Like, you want to take as much of the human out of it as you can. And the simple stuff, like you were saying about sizing or R to R, or how many tries you're going to do and all this on a one trade idea is like, that's, you know what I mean, you're already taking part of the decision making out of it in the heat of the moment. You know what I mean? Like that's really important. If you can just kind of go, okay, wait a second, I already got 90% of it figured out. I just got to now pull the trigger at the right time, right? Like that would definitely help the situation.
Yeah, it's just about training systematically. That's really what it is.
It's like having like the process. When you go to start your car, or you walk, you know what I mean? Like there's the process to it. You don't take extra car keys to the car when you go to start it, right? Well, like why would I take an extra set of car? It's just something you just don't even think about. By doing the thought process beforehand, right? Of having to think about it right then and there, I think, because this is such a fast. It would kind of almost be like your daily bias, almost, right? Like you're only looking for longs when the chart's at the bottom, only looking for shorts when the chart's at the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, well, that doesn't always work on a trend day. And everybody, I don't think I've found one fucking trader that has a good. He's like, oh, I just trade trend days. That's my gravy. I've never met a guy that like that or a girl. Oh,
Well, because you can't just do that. But I mean, I get yeah. I just think there's, you know, well, I don't know. I mean, what's the point of this?
I don't know. You brought it up.
Hold your winners.
There
What's
we
up,
are.
Ken? No, that was a can.
There we are.
That's the can of a real man right there.
He
Server
probably opened it with his
settings,
thighs.
rows. He probably did.
It turns out there's a difference between the microphone on the 16-inch M2 MacBook Pro and the 14-inch M2 MacBook Pro. The 16-inch hasn't been picking it up recently. Long story short, bigger isn't always better.
Yeah, that's what I keep trying to tell my girlfriend. She ain't buying it.
It's about the duration. The more you know.
Well, I have a problem there too.
It's called Viagra. Holy shit, that stuff is wild.
Let's see.
Viagra is not a trap.
I don't know, man. Every time I've taken it, I have like never had a worse migraine.
How hydrated are you?
Very. I think you might be one of the few people that might drink more water than I do.
I don't I don't have side effects from it. Occasionally a stuffy nose, but nothing but that. Are you already? Oh, yeah. So
It's just something I've used recreationally. But I definitely am not looking forward to getting older because I tried that. I think I tried Cialis once, and that gave me a horrible headache too.
that's one of the main complaints.
How do we get from MacBooks to starting cars with 5 keys to Cialis?
Bigger is not always better. You got to follow the conversation, Zero.
Sorry, my apologies. Anyways, all right, guys, I'm gonna jump off. I'll talk to you guys later.
Take care.
All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
I'll stick around for a little bit. If people have questions regarding anything, I'll be happy to answer them. I have a bit of time between now and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. Oh, there's no Timmy today. Is Risky back to trading, quote unquote, legally? Oh, the feedback I've heard regarding individuals that use, let's say, tramadol in conjunction with Viagra or Cialis is that you then become a machine. Because he's probably advising the Saudi crown prince regarding positioning. Well, yeah, they're starting to fund some Zwift teams. Have you come across any interesting papers recently, Joe? Papers. Academic papers. Ah, fuck. Thank you. I do appreciate anything you do forward. But I'm using too much memory on both my computers. I'm using 256 gigabytes of RAM on my PC and then 92 on my studio. No Siri. And I just had both of them crash at the same time because I'm using too much memory. And I was in the middle of a large grid search. Fuck. Oh, well. That's exciting. Fuck me. Yeah, that's discouraging. Oh well. I guess I'm gonna be starting over a 13-hour grid search. Are you running most of your grid searches in cloud or locally? Okay. I'm waiting because of the issues I'm having with the existing firm and having reservations regarding intellectual property. They've offered to use their compute cluster, which one of the compute clusters is running 8 terabytes of memory, but I don't want anything hosted on there due to IP concerns. Because I would love to use 8 terabytes of memory for the purpose of running a grid search, but I have trust issues. How many parameters are often in your grid search or combinations? Jazzer was typing. And granted, most market makers, each of the individual teams are running a black box. They don't even know what the fuck their parameter set is when they have 1,500 different features being reduced down to 30 every single day and then running hyperopt on it. They have no idea what the hell's going on. I'm just out here looking for my forever home. And are you still working on using reinforcement learning for a scaling model? Or you don't want to introduce nonlinearity into your position sizing? Since recently, we've started to implement nonlinearity into our scaling models, where we can pretty comfortably have 4 times as much exposure to a position with 4 times as much exposure with the same risk profile. So we could have exposure to, let's say, 400 lots as opposed to 100 lots. And our risk would be the same as 100 lots based on our scaling models that we are starting to implement. And I would say that's now becoming the secret weapon, is the scaling. Would you say your models are temporal? If your models are temporal, they probably would work somewhat well. As we initially were using an LGB model for prediction, but the F1 score wasn't high enough. And so now we're transitioning into, there's some reinforcement learning with reward factors and penalties, but for the most part, the primary feature of significance is previous 2 trade the duration of the previous 2 trades. So ultimately, we're primarily predicting the upcoming trade duration, as opposed, and that's where the reward factor is, rather than positive or negative P&L. But the longer the trade duration, the better the reward. You had suggested this, and I corroborated it as well, is trade duration is, if temporal, trade duration is one of the most important features. In particular, I think that's for most of even discretionary traders, evaluating their trade duration is pretty important. Often most are going to see that their losers are far shorter than their winners. As most of my average losing trades are about 25 minutes, average winning trades are 2.5 to 3 hours. And that's where the predictive value becomes important, is if I have 2 consecutive losing trades, which are 15 minutes each or 17 minutes, you then have some semblance to be somewhat discerning in increasing the position sizing on the upcoming trade simply due to the duration. I'm gonna hop off. I need to take a couple calls, but hopefully everyone has had a good trading day thus far, and I'll be on tomorrow probably. Take care, ciao. Bye, everyone.